The day.
Hey guys, it's Alec, Torelli, and welcome back to an episode of The Hand of the Day. Today's hand was sent to me by one of my readers, Andy, who requests that I review this hand between Tom Dwan and Bob Safai on High Stakes Poker. Awesome hand here. And they're playing six-handed. Blinds are 400, 800. Bob Safai opens to 2,000 early position. Tom Dwan calls on the cutoff with 8-6 of clubs. And they go heads up to the flop. Pot's about 5,000, and it's a pretty small raise from Bob Safai here, opening to 2,000. And I expect Tom to either call or 3-bet here quite a bit. It could really go either way with 8-6. I think when you're deep stacked in position against Safai, you're probably going to want to play this pot, and so I expect Tom to call here a lot. The flop comes Queen 5-3 with 5-3 of clubs. Great flop for both players. And Safai goes ahead and leads out 5,000. So he bets 5,000 instantly, the size of the pot. And I feel like, Tom's would maybe consider raising here in a normal situation. But because Safai acted so quickly and bet so big, he was a little hesitant, and maybe he feels like Safai actually connected with this board in some way. He also feels like if he calls, he could probably win the pot later, either by improving his hand or maybe bluffing. So I'm fine with how both players played this hand. That's a tongue twister. Pre-flop as well as on the flop. Pretty standard so far by both players. Nothing really too out of the ordinary. So we go heads up again to the turn. The turn comes a 10 of spades, which really doesn't change much. I mean, the only hand that Safai would be potentially worried about at this point, if Tom wasn't trapping on the flop, would be something like Queen 10. But it's really unlikely Tom has Queen 10 because Safai has a queen, and Tom probably doesn't have Queen 10 offsuit that often. So he's going to have Queen 10 suited, and there's only really two combinations of that hand. So it's really unlikely that Safai should be worried. Safai goes ahead and with his same sort of antics, bets really quickly, bets really big, and pretty much pots it, bets 12,000 right away. Tom here on the turn, you could tell he has a real tough decision. He knows that he's not really getting the best price to call at this point with 8 high, and it's hard to win the hand because he doesn't have the lead. So if he calls here and the river comes a blank and Safai bets, what's he gonna do? Raise all in as a bluff? Maybe. But you could tell he's thinking on the turn, should I raise now and try and get Safai off his hand? Or should I call or should I fold? And folding kind of sucks because you're in position. Maybe you could rep some hands on the river. Maybe you can get away with a bluff on the river. Maybe you improve to the best hand and win a huge pot. But raising is also complicated too because Safai bets so big. And so if Tom raises, it's kind of awkward. It sucks if Safai jams, and Tom doesn't really know what's going on, I feel like, at this point in the hand. I mean, Safai still could have, a strong queen, an overpair, or big draw, and none of those hands he's going to fold to a raise. So I think that's what Tom's thinking here on the turn, and in the end, he opts to just call, which I like. You sort of keep position in the hand, play the pot in position, keep the pot as small as you can, and sort of see what develops on the river while you're still extremely deep stacked, and maybe you could find a way to wiggle around and win this pot or improve to the best hand. So the river comes a deuce of diamonds, and Safai, in the same manner, checks super quick. And Tom now is debating what to do on the river. Of course, he can't win the pot by checking. So even though it's a spot where it kind of sucks to bluff because it looks like you're bluffing, I mean, it looks like Tom sort of missed a draw. The flush draw missed. I guess he could have a straight if he has 6-4 specifically, or ace-4, but all the other draws missed. And there's so many draws that Tom could have here. He can have any clubs, been floating with, king-jack and turned to straight draw and call, ace-high that picked up, ace-jack, picked up some equity on the turn and decided to continue calling, or just any club draw. And there's so many club draws that Tom could have. Pretty much all of them are possible, and only ace-4 or 6-4 now improved to the best hand on the river. So there's a lot of bluffs that Tom could have, and there's not a lot of strong hands he could have. It's unlikely Tom has a set or two pair because he probably would have raised, the flop or the turn with those hands as well. So it's kind of a bad spot for Tom because he needs to bet to win the pot, But at the same time, if Safai has anything, Safai is probably going to check call, which you can see is sort of Safai's intention here with a quick check on the river. I don't think Safai is worried about Tom having a straight as much as he just feels like Tom is up to something and he's going to win more money by check calling. If Safai was thinking on that level at all, that's what I feel like is a good strategy to have in this spot, and it's probably what Safai was thinking. So I think Tom knows in this spot, he asks Safai how much he has left. I think Tom knows in this spot he can't win the pot with like a $15,000 bet. It's just like Safai's just going to call, even probably with ace king, Safai's just going to call because it's like a small bet. And so Tom asks him how much he has and decides to shove all in here, which is pretty crazy bet. You weren't seeing a lot of overbets back like 4 or 5 years ago whenever this hand happened, and he bets 3x the pot. And that's just something that you never really saw. Actually, pretty much nobody in poker was doing that at this time except Tom. And even though it looks like really bluffy, even though if you think about the hand from a logical standpoint like we're doing here, where it's like can't have that many hands for value, and most of the hands he has for value aren't going to shove, they're probably just going to bet to get Safai to call, maybe bet like 50,000 or something. So I just think this kind of screams a bluff, and it looks really bluffy. I'm not being results oriented here because I can see the cards, but just if you analyze it and just like think about the hand, it's just like looks kind of fishy. But at the same time, you have to think about how the game of poker was played back then. You also have to realize that, to Tom, it doesn't matter if his hand looks bluffy, it just matters if he can get his opponent to credibly fold. And that's really all he's thinking, and that's all I think that most people need to think in these situations. You don't have to worry about, necessarily playing a balanced or game theory strategy if you're in a spot against one opponent one time that you think you can get away with something. And that's sort of how it is here playing for these super, uber high stakes on national television. So Tom bombs it, and Safai hems and haws for a while and ends up folding the best hand. And this is a pretty huge fold from Safai. I think, in retrospect, and I think against all the hands that Tom could have, I think he should be calling here. This is one of the best hands that Safai could have as well. Ace-Queen is a pretty big monster here in Safai's spot, because most of the time he's going to bet the river with that hand. And so when he checks, this is like really one of the best hands that he's ever checking. So I think he should call here. And, against a player like Tom who's capable of anything at any time, and the fact that all the clubs missed, I think you got to call here and just sort of close your eyes, put the money in, and hope for the best. But Tom got away with it, and credit to him. So I guess, long story short, if you are in a spot where, the game theory and the exploitative poker sort of don't coincide, I think if you look at how Tom plays a lot of these spots, he knows that he's unbalanced. He knows that he's making a play that maybe could be exploited in the long term, but he put his opponents to situations that were new to them and that they weren't taking advantage of, and that Tom could just completely run over people. And he did it and got away with it for years, and it's how he printed a lot of money in these big games. So definitely something to be learned from watching Tom, and really interesting hand. Andy, thank you for sending that in. Hope you enjoyed the hand of the day. If you guys like this style of analysis and you like this video, you should definitely check out some of my premier training products. Head over to alectorelli.com/products, and I have 2 amazing strategy books out that you can check out. One is 4 Steps to Beating Anyone at Poker. It teaches you how to hand read and really apply the concepts in these videos to analyzing hands to pretty much any situation versus any opponent. And the second is a pre-flop guide as well, which teaches you how to play all of your hands pre-flop and how to never be exploited and win the most money at the table with respect to pre-flop play. A super important component of the game. You really can't win money in poker without solid pre-flop fundamentals. So check that out. You can click on one of these links here as well. Of course, let me know if you have any questions, and I think you guys will really enjoy that if you guys like this style of content. So that's it for today's video. Subscribe to my channel. I'm putting out a lot of new content soon as well. And if you want to get in touch with me and submit hands to me, or have hands you'd like me to review, or suggestions for this channel as well, you could always reach out to me on alectorelli.com/contact, and I really do read every email. So shoot me an email, and I'll try and reply, but I'll definitely read it. And thanks for the suggestions ahead of time. All right, guys, take it easy. I'll see you guys next time for the hand of the day. Cheers.